Hi folks, got a little game table update for you, just a short one. I am working on posting the full Battle of Cedar Mountain from GMT's Great Battles of the American Civil War from the Twin Peaks volume in the series. I'm working towards that. Kind of doing a little more practice gameplay to get used to the rules because it's been a while. I only previously played a practice game before that, so I'm still learning the system, really. And I decided just to have a go and do a little run through of a few turns for myself, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Quite impressed with how fast the game actually moves, thanks to the chit pull system. Very enjoyable. I found out a few things I was doing wrong, which I didn't realize. Like, for one, an obvious one is I was starting the game off at 1400 hours. This scenario starts at 1700, which is right when Hill's division arrives from reinforcements. So this is the first turn yet, and yeah, they're already on the board and moving on. Yeah, absolutely enjoying it. And as you can see here, I think the rebels have pulled 4 AMs so far. The Union is on their 4th AM. No, 5th AM, actually. They kept all their artillery under Best, which is the commander of their artillery. They're all in one force. There was an option to assign them to divisions, but I didn't do that. I kept them all together. I've already got a battery here on low ammo. I'll have to go through my Death Valley box and see if I have the proper counters for that. This should say low ammo. It says ammo depleted. Same thing, -2 DRM. This is what actually came with Cedar Mountain. So I'm going to have a look at my Death Valley and see if there's a counter specifically stating low ammo, because that's how it's written in the rules. And of course, I am using the current version of the series rules, 219 edition. There's a lot more in here, and a lot of that is outlined with little bullets, so it's easy to find where there's changes and such. And quite a few of them, actually. So yeah, so I'm doing that. So this is the situation so far. I don't think I need to zoom in or anything, because I am going to do a proper series of videos on this. It's great fun. I'm having a blast. Just wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening and what to look forward to in the coming days when I hope to start this scenario in earnest. You'll also notice here, for you folks that are familiar with the Great Battles of the American Civil War series, these counters don't come with the game in any of the expansions, I don't think. These are from Great Campaigns of the American Civil War, which is a game by MMP, which I just got a few days ago. And it had these nifty little control markers, which really come in handy for this particular scenario, to mark who controls certain locations, like this one, for instance, because it can switch hands. And so I'm making use of them counters in this game. So that's fun. And you can see Winder's division over here on the left, where he was historically. Interesting, I put these 2 batteries under Jackson's command directly, so there is AM markers for the rebels, for the artillery. And when they're pulled, those 2 batteries get to act. And they have done so at least once so far in the battle. One mistake I made, I was playing this out. I forgot to do return fire for the Union. During a previous activation, I think some of these rebel cannons, I think these up here under Jackson actually fired on some of these batteries on the hill up here. And I skipped the return fire. These guns are able to return fire if they're fired on or adjacent to somebody fired on over here. So I never did that. I never did the return fire. So I may resolve that, even though I'm out of their activation. So I'm going to go back and probably resolve that. So there'll be a little counter battery fire. Probably not going to do much, if anything. This is interesting. Got a battery of guns down here that is on low ammo. Of course, the marker says ammo depleted, -2 DRM. Low ammo is a -2 DRM in the system. But for some reason, they have these ammo depleted markers. And the 2019 rules mention a low ammo -2 DRM marker. Well, there is none of these low ammo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through my Death Valley and see if I can find some low ammo counters because they were probably meant to replace these. I'm not sure. But I just thought it was curious. So I might replace this once I get through my Death Valley box. Clip the counters and replace them. So yeah. Interesting. Having a blast, folks. Of course, I got a couple cavalry regiments up here out of command. Their commander is way down here. That's Baird. And you can also notice over here for the rebels, under Robertson, I believe. The rebel cavalry are kind of moving on the flank here. I forget what brigade this is. It's under this counter here, but they're trying to cover this flank just in case the Union advances on that flank quickly, which they have not done for some reason. The Union Green Prince's brigades moved up to this point here at that little stream or run, and that's where they halted for some reason. They could have kept going, but they didn't carry forward any further. But Ewell, and this is one of his brigades, and all that stuff up there on Cedar Mountain proper, that's all Ewell's division, and he hasn't activated yet. So I had activated my cavalry, their AM was pulled, and just put them up here on the flank just in case, to kind of slow the enemy or be a threat, even though they're not going to be much threat against infantry. They can't fire, they have no firepower. But eventually I'm probably going to send them up that creek, up that way, and if at all possible, get on the flank or behind the rear of the Union and engage the enemy cavalry and see what I can do with them. And that's about it at the moment. They were previously in a reserve position back here, which I was actually quite happy to leave them there, but they activated, and I didn't want to waste the activation marker, so I did do that. Of course, Winder, where is he? Division commander of the left flank. Right here. Historically, he was mortally wounded early in the battle from artillery exchange, and he was replaced by one of his brigade commanders here, but he's still kicking. The battle has begun. I guess I'd have to throw some artillery his way to get that kind of historical result, but I haven't done so. I did get some of the rebels disordered. This position here, he's disordered. Also in this stack, there is a battery of rebel guns and some infantry, which are now disordered. And that was all the result of Union artillery fire that I've been putting on them. In fact, I think this battery here was able to disorder this unit. Didn't do anything to the artillery, but it did disorder the infantry here. However, they were ammo depleted, or actually low ammo, that should say, with a -2 DRM on future firings. Very interesting battle. Having a blast. And folks, stay tuned. I just wanted to give you a little update on what's going on. Of course, here's the rest of AP Hill's division coming on the board. Let's see how far they get. They activated once so far. They have 3 AM markers, more than any Union or Confederate division so far. I think their efficiency poll was 1. Yeah, it was 1, so it was pretty low. But we do have AP Hill on 3 AMs, which is good. Yeah, you could see some of the fatigue is in play as well. So far, so good, folks. I'm loving the game system, and I just wanted to give you guys a little update on what's going on. I hope to do a full series of videos refighting the Battle of Cedar Mountain once I get the rules back in my head. And we're going to play this out and fight it out and have a good time doing so. So stay tuned for that, folks. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that madness. And let me know your thoughts about this game or series of games. So, folks, that's it for now. You guys hang in there, because it's only going to get better. Take care, folks.